Ohio gozaimasu. That's us getting moving right away. I always notice there's this lag when people start these things, but we're gonna breathe right away because it just clears out everything. Instant feel better. Instant feel better for everybody. And if you're gonna do a long soliloquy, I'm about to do a big long blah and download. I'm going to do a big long download, and I hope I remember everything because I'm so excited about what I want to tell you today. But anyway, as we always do, crush and sniff, and my rosemary is getting old, but it's still aromatic. It still has lots of stuff to give in it. So old herbs, new herbs, no matter what, all have just fantastic properties to help clear your brain. And I have to say a big shout out and thank you to my friend Johnny Red, who sent me this as a welcome home. Look at those little buds too. A little rose bush in a really sweet little rose container for getting my jab, which is there, and just coming back, and they don't really smell yet. But what I loved is it has this spine. Right? And at first I was going to take it out because I thought, oh, that doesn't. And then I realized it's to help the roses grow up instead of all kind of awry and all over the place. And that's what we do here is Shakespeare therapy, herbal healing, as Hannah would say, is to give you agency and sovereignty to grow up. We say anchoring in wisdom and anchoring in healing, but it's this kind of thing too. It's helping you train yourselves to grow upward, to be your best and beautiful self. And so yesterday, I thought it was today, but yesterday was Herbalist Day. And Hannah, the medical herbalist, the district herbalist that we have, so fortunate to have, said, that's an American thing. I said, well, this is half in America and half in the UK and wherever else it goes, I guess. But we're celebrating Herbalist Day. So there's a couple things that I want to say. First of all, I'm wearing this thing, I think it was from the Herbal Academy. I got these t-shirts. I don't know if you can. So rose, see? And violet, and further down it has chamomile and thyme and peppermint and a couple non-Shakespeare plants, but that's okay. I always say Shakespeare is a gateway drug. And Queen Elizabeth had herbal tinctures. She had a little cabinet of herbal tinctures. So she was a big fan of herbalists, and a lot of herbals were dedicated to her during her lifetime, during her reign. The first one, the father of English botany, William Turner, who did the first big herbal in English, was dedicated to her in 1551, even before her reign. So whenever I talk about Queen Elizabeth, I like to wear pearls because that was her favorite jewel, reminiscent of the moon and all of that kind of stuff. And I've done this project, but I was showing where everywhere she went, a garden was planted, and the conclusions that I draw from that. Stay tuned. But anyway, so I also have this fantastic book about women herbalists, medical authority, and English women's herbal texts. And it's by Rebecca LaRoche, who I interviewed for a story for Huffington Post years ago on the Scottish play. And I do believe in I do believe in the curse. So I'm not going to say it. But she says this fantastic thing, which I didn't put in the paper, and I'm going to try and wedge it in there afterwards because depending on where I publish it. But anyway, so she talks about in John Gerard's Herbal, which is in 1597, it's actually not dedicated to Queen Elizabeth. It's dedicated to her Lord Treasurer, Lord Burleigh. But it first brings up Mother Earth in the dedication, which is absolutely fascinating. Because people don't really call it that. In the regal treatment of Mother Earth is found in Gerard. So what greater delight is there than to behold the earth apparelled with plants? So I was thinking about a couple of things regarding that and the flowering of England when she was queen and what female rulers care about. And she cared a lot about gardens because she walked in them. She had meetings in them. She had suitors come to her in the garden, all kinds of stuff. She dressed as Flora, the goddess. But it's kind of when Flora switches to Mother Earth, which is kind of fascinating. So with the rose, I was going to have a rose quote. And the rose quote, I thought, well, we'll start with something really simple. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And I thought next weekend is actually Shakespeare's baptism day, April 26th, and during the course of the week is St. George's Day and the traditional birthday celebration. And so I thought really we should do rose then, because Tudor rose, and that was the emblem of the land. But so today we're more talking about herbalists and female herbalists and all of that kind of stuff. But Juliet says this rose line, what's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Yes, it's a beautiful line, and it's about a plant and all of that stuff. But it's also a logic line. Because, yes, we posted about this. You could call this Bob, and it would still be beautiful and smell beautifully and smell gorgeous, you know? So it's a logic. And that's why we say we anchor in wisdom, we anchor in healing, because the herbal part and Hannah's part teaches you how to take care of yourself. So you're at your optimum level of health. And the Shakespeare part, anchoring in wisdom, helps you at your optimum level of thinking. That is a logic line. However, it's not the line of the week this week. Maybe I'll circle back. You'll get it by next week. But the logic line, oh, and one more thing. Yesterday was also the day that Chaucer read his Canterbury Tales in the court of Richard II. So he's considered the first English poet, and a huge influence on Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet again, and Two Noble Kinsmen, 2 Henry VI, Troilus and Cressida, because he has a Troilus and Cressida, so passages of that. So, and he's the first person to be buried in what's now called Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. And that's where the line of the week comes in, and I had gotten this card in the mail, probably backwards actually, sorry about that. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. That's from Troilus and Cressida. That's why I brought up the Chaucer thing. It all connects. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. It's a famous one. It's a beautiful one. And now we'll bring on Hannah, if I can find her. Oh, now I'm Kilroy again. Hello, good afternoon, Hannah. Oh, you're this afternoon. Are we back to four? Are you at 4:15 in England right now?
Yeah, we're back on normal time, thank goodness.
4:26, normal time. Okay. All right, I'm trying to get this organized so I don't look like Kilroy. Doesn't matter. Anyway, hello. Good morning for me. Good afternoon for you. Ohio Diamonds. And happy One Day Late Herbalists Day. So we're celebrating female herbalist, which is you. So what herb do you want to talk about? A remedy or whatever, you know?
Well, I thought it would be nice to... It's actually not in Shakespeare, I'm afraid, but one of my favourite herbs is Angelica.
It is in Shakespeare. Yes. Yes. It's in a really weird way. In Romeo and Juliet, Lord Capulet says, "Go, good Angelica, go to the pantry." So there's this. I put it in the beginning in the introduction because it's normally not considered. But people don't know if it's the name of the kitchen, if it's the first name of the nurse, or if somebody's trying to. Oh, is that the cat's name? Angelica?
No, she's Shadow.
Anyway, so I have it in a talk called Plants That Are People, and I had Sydney do an extra drawing, and where is it? This is my very messed up, very well used version of my own book, but there's the Angelica, right there.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes.
I had absolutely no idea. I was often looking completely the wrong place, but Angelica is absolutely it's just beautiful. It was actually the first medicinal plant that taught me a lot about how you can tell a lot about a plant just by watching it grow. So it's Angelica, when it's at kind of full growth, is about 2 meters tall. So, you know, getting on for sort of over 6 foot. And I grew this little baby Angelica from when it was just like a little seedling, and it grew in the first year and then died back, and then grew in the second year, and then it flowered. And then when it flowers, that's kind of it, and it goes to seed. But in the year that it flowered, I grew it against my old shed in my old garden, and you could pretty much see it growing day by day. It grew that quickly. My old neighbour called it Attack of the Triffids, because all Angelica basically does, ta-da! It's just all about the up and out movements, and that's kind of what it does in the human body. And it's got lots of uses, and it's a carminative, so it dispels wind, and it's, you know, got all these lovely other uses, and it's warming, and it's slightly bitter. It's an aromatic bitter, so you see it in lots of alcoholic bitter compounds. But it's a really great circulant, and that's one of the things that I use it for. If I'm trying to get an upward circulant movement, particularly as an uplifting emotional action as well, I will quite often put Angelica in there, and it is just beautiful to use. It really is.
What do you mean a circulant, like circulatory system kind of thing? And what do you mean uplifting? Is it a mood lifter as well?
Yeah, it can be a little bit too much for some people, because it really is very, you know, it's kind of, it does how it looks. But also I find it really interesting because when you watch it grow from the base of the stem, it's almost like it's unfurling. You can literally see it unfurling from the stem, and that's kind of what it continues to do. So it's a herb that you wouldn't give to someone with a weak constitution, but it's certainly something that if you're wanting to help someone sort of move on emotionally, or lift and move on emotionally, that's something where it can often come into play in sort of small doses.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, can you grow it indoors? Could you grow it like on a windowsill, do you think?
You would struggle to. It doesn't like being in a pot because it likes to go big. And if it's grown in a pot, then I did actually, when I moved house from my garden to my old house that had a yard, I took it with me and put it in a pot. Well, the one that I was going to put it in a pot, and it only grew to about like it was, I mean, I'm talking back a big pot, like a sort of a good, I don't know, good 3 foot wide pot. And it grew to about 3 foot high-ish. And that's all it did. But really, it is happier in the ground, so it can get its roots in the soil, so that it can get that lovely strength to grow as tall as it possibly can do.
I love that. Okay, well, that's what Angelica does. And thank you. What a happy accident again, too, to have your favorite one be one that's a mystery in Shakespeare. Little mystery. God, it was like we said it would be a mystery plant. It's a mystery on a number of levels. Anyway, happy Herbalist Day, my favorite female herbalist. I will be back with the cards, and we will be back next week for the celebration and the big reveal of the maps, maybe. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. So, parting is such sweet sorrow. Have a great week.
You see?